I'll do this. I can full page it. Hi Joyce, we're checking out when you see, you think, and going over questions if people have any. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big paragraph.
You don't have to do a big paragraph, but for D3, make sure you don't just talk about a first derivative sign chart, but you also talk about the possibility of a second derivative testing concavity, and make sure both of those are tied to, you must find the critical numbers first.
Oh, I didn't know.
Alright.
Okay.
Must do critical numbers first, and then you can use either first derivative test with a sign chart, second derivative test checking concavity, but in order to be a relative extrema, it must be a critical number first.
Wait, if I say extrema when f prime of x goes from positive to negative or negative to positive, isn't that
That's the first derivative sign chart.
Is the critical number implied?
No, because it could be at a vertical asymptote, and so if you just look at the sign chart alone and don't allow for, you know what I mean? So f must be continuous at c, and f prime must equal 0 or d and e. Both of those must be true before even applying first or second derivative. Sorry, Georgia, what were you saying?
Can I just say equals 0 or d and e?
You don't have to write these paragraphs. Remember, you're making it your own. These are just quick reminders. And you guys know that they talk about AP type problems in here as far as directions and see.
For finding that rating, reading is still kind of
Basically, you're trying to think about what the function is doing to infinity or negative infinity. For the horizontal asymptote, does it increase forever, decrease forever?
so the max and mins are those actually important?
Well, because if, for instance, if it had a horizontal asymptote at 2, somewhere in here I bet it went above 2. You know what I mean? So if you don't think about the relative extrema about it. So it's basically testing relative extrema and endpoints. If there are endpoints, thinking about the graph's behavior to infinity and negative. Whereas D7, if it's on a closed interval, then we're thinking about relative extrema along with the endpoints and just thinking about comparing the y values.
Let's see, for D5, I put plug in endpoints and critical numbers of f.
Into what though? Be specific.
Oh, into f.
That's one of the most common mistakes. But yes, that's good.
2, a word in a letter, or common mistake.
Oh, the witches? Yeah. Witches instead of switches. I mean, I'm going to scroll down.
D6, I'm quite confident.
I'm ready when I read it.
D6 and D7 are basically just talking about comparing y values. For D6, you're not only thinking about relative extrema on the inside, but also sign charts to infinity and negative infinity. The behavior, is it going infinitely down, infinitely up? D7 on a closed interval, you're thinking about the relative heights, relative highs, relative lows, and the endpoints.
So for D7, I put 5 maxes and mins of that.
But also consider the endpoints.
Oh, yeah, alright. I thought that was
And then D6 is also consider the behavior to infinity and negative.
I put just take limit to infinity, find max and min y values.
Yeah, that basically works as long as you think about relative extrema and infinity, right?
And then
Yeah.
for D5, doesn't extreme value theorem work for that?
It's a guarantee that they're there somewhere.
Oh, but that doesn't actually.
You know what I mean? That doesn't answer. So instead, the steps to finding absolute extrema, there's a different card. That would be the ideal one.
Got it.
Wait a minute.
Nice thing about D5 is technically, I think they accept the table as justification if you're showing that you found the critical numbers and you're testing the endpoints and you're finding the values. But it's best to state something to the effect of, when testing the critical numbers and the endpoints for this function for the absolute blah blah blah, this one ended up winning as the absolute.
Yeah, on one of the FRQs in the packet you gave us, for their justification they had a table, and then like it said justification and consider endpoint. So then it was just with the table. It didn't
That's like the one case where I think the table actually counts. So you guys know with sign charts and with all of those, like just because you show the work doesn't mean it's justified. I think this is the one case. I just would rather be safe than sorry and actually state critical numbers.
Can you scroll down
Yeah.
with being on the same page for them?
Yeah, technically. Does anybody else still need the ones up above?
No.
Wait, yeah.
There's the rest of D in the beginning of E.
do we need to know? Do we need to know how to prove MBT and rules?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But they might not specifically say MBT or rules, they might just say like, hey, if this and this is true, what else must be necessarily true, or what does not have to be true, or
Or like in an FR2 where they give you, I think we have to do it on one of them, right?
where you have to use MBT to justify.
Well, but you mean using it, not proving it.
Yeah, no,
It's
well,
just
you
that-
have to state the conditions are true as to why you
Otherwise,
can use
it
MBT.
doesn't apply.
Yeah.
You have to make sure MBT applies.
You can say, according to MBT, since F is this or this.
Aha. And I know how to do that.
You had to, like if it was continuous and differentiable and stuff, and like f prime would equal zero instead of like.
Ooh, that's rules. Then find some C such that, oh, they put if F of A equals F of B.
For which one?
For D9, I would take out the F of A equals F of B. That's technically, well, it is an MBT, it's rules. The conclusion is F prime C equals F of B minus F of A over B minus A, but put in parentheses, and if F of A equals F of B, then you can say F prime C equals 0. That's the special case of rules that is the specific to the general MBT. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They like included F of A equals F of B. I would not include that in general MBT. I would put that in parentheses after and say, oh, by the way, if this extra condition is true, then Amanda's right, it would equal 0. But don't say it. Ever. Don't write it either.
Can you explain D11 with less words? Just
Long story short, they're talking about tangent line approximation. Hopefully not a Taylor, that will come later. But a tangent line approximation, remember, it's all based upon whether or not it's an over or underestimate is based upon the concavity.
concavity and increasing, decreasing, or just concavity?
Just concavity. So if you have an approximation at the concave up portion using a tangent line, it's bound to be an underestimate. If you have a concave down at a point where you're testing a tangent line, it's bound to be an overestimation. I like the pictures in my mind because it makes more sense. So if you're approximating using a tangent line, concave up, it's going to be an under, concave down. It's going to be an over. Whether it's on the decreasing side or the increasing side, doesn't matter. It's all about concavity. So I think they're a little wordy. They re-explain a linear approximation. But the long story short is the concavity.
For G12, is it okay if I put when the slope of F is increasing when F double prime is greater than 0?
Or when F prime
No, when the slope is increasing.
Yeah, they're trying to trick you. So the slope is increasing, aka when F prime is increasing, aka when F double prime is greater than 0.
So you can just say f prime greater than 0.
Why not F prime greater
F
than 0?
prime is increasing.
Oh, right, okay.
Because the
But if you're
slope,
looking at a graph at F prime, all it has to do is be above the x-axis, and it's increasing, correct?
doesn't have to be positive and increasing.
I know, but it just has to be above, so F prime would be greater than 0 for it to be increasing. Whether the actual function.
No, where F prime is above, that means F is increasing,
Right.
but that doesn't
Isn't that
mean
what
the
it's asking?
slope is increasing.
Oh, it means F
See, they
increasing
snuck
without
it.
the slope? Okay.
Yeah, they snuck in slope. So what I was saying is slope of F of X, remember that's synonymous with F prime. So if they're asking the slope of F of X or the rate of F of X, where F prime is increasing, so we looked at F double prime. Pause, does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Or not because you already said you got it right, so next time, wait, let others respond. Okay,
Okay.
does that make sense? Okay, go ahead, what's your question?
D13, I knew how to do it, but I didn't know how to say it. I put find F double prime of A and F double prime of B and compare it to when F triple prime is 0. Plug into F double prime and compare values.
Not F triple prime, F double prime,
Yeah, that sounds like I know what to do. I don't know
not
how to
F
say it.
triple prime,
Yeah,
okay.
well, how do I explain this? Minimum slope would be like
Find the absolute minimum of F prime, which means look to F double prime, the zeros, the DNEs, find the critical numbers of F double prime.
Yeah.
Test F prime at the critical numbers and the endpoints. You could even do something snazzy if you really want to. It's very AP-ish. You could say let G equal F prime. So you could do something like that, and you could find the minimum of G plus C, which means find G prime equal to 0 or DNE, and test with the critical numbers and endpoints. If you like that terminology better.
So just because it's not a closed interval, so I'm thinking
It is a closed interval.
the endpoints could be a minimum slope.
Right, which is why I said test the critical numbers or endpoints. And endpoints.
So it would be test critical numbers and endpoints of f double prime.
Your terminology is weird. Test the critical numbers and endpoints into f prime. From endpoints are just from the given, and then the critical numbers will come from f double prime equal to 0 or d.
Wait, why are we? Oh yeah.
Because you're trying to find the minimum slope. So instead of plugging into the original function for the minimum of f, we're trying to find the minimum f prime, so we're plugging into f prime. If it helps, you can correspond this to the minimum velocity. Minimum velocity, plug in, you find the critical numbers of acceleration, aka of s double prime, to find the minimum of s prime.
So
If that helps you apply.
plug in endpoints to f
Critical
prime
numbers.
and critical numbers of.
Critical numbers being found from f prime's derivative, which is f double prime. What?
Plug in endpoints and critical numbers. Okay. Cool. That makes sense.
Is that all of you? Oh, no, it's not all of you.
For E3, what would you like us to write? I don't know how to say that.
There's no nice formula.
I would say in a table, because it's almost, I don't even know when I would have you do it without a table. But technically that's what I would say for E1 and E2. With a table, split into, use the middle y value for each subinterval used, or do something like that. And then I would just say a is equal to base times height, which is equal to delta x times f of x star, or f of x sub c, or something like that. And then say for your y values, choose the y value in the middle of each subinterval chosen or used, or something like that.
So with the table, use middle y values.
Use the middle y values for each subinterval. Delta x is, as always, found by the difference in the x's for each subinterval.
I feel like I can explain this with pictures better than words.
I like examples even better. AB had a great example for this one, but you guys went straight to 2016. They're using a 2014 practice exam.
I still have it. And the 15.
Yeah, 2000. One of them was the one we did in the actual AP day last year, and one of them we did. I think it was after.
I have my hand.
What do you have?
I saved it from last year.
Smart.
I have the 14 and the 15. Oh, I have 15.
Does 14 start with roof and a bicycle?
Grass clippings are placed in a bin. And then this one is the rate at which rainwater flows into
Okay.
a bin pipe.
The example I'm thinking of is actually the 2014 hidden practice exam.
Ah, the hidden price.
Let me actually put this in the phone. Wait, this one, oh, no, this isn't it.
Hidden
Trapezoidal sun. No, this one is trapezoidal sun.
What's the hidden practices in?
Yeah, one of those.
The hidden one.
Well, that's not public.
Right, Demon Sun. Yeah, the one that you need teacher passwords and I can sign your life away when you say I agree. You can take away my AP standing if for some reason this leaks electronically
Wait,
because
why wouldn't they want to show them? Would
So-
they use them for another
So
test?
teachers can use them on as tests without us finding the answers.
because there's so much available online. We really need another practice exam for you guys that everyone can access and like cheat with and memorize the answers. You know what I mean? It gives us an option of one that's not out there.
Can you explain E6? 6.
Okay, when they have an x at the top part, this is, I mean, they use the technical term accumulation function, which is good because x can be, this is one of those where it says g of x is equal to the integral from a to x of f of t dt. So g of 2 would be from a to 2, g of 4 would be from a to 4. So it's like accumulating the, well, usually
Wait, it's an A.
this is set equal to.
Oh, yeah.
See what I mean?
But-
So if you wanted to find g of 2, you'd find the integral from a to
Right.
2, given whatever, usually that's a number like 1 or something. And you're given like a geometric, one of those funky like, hey, it's
Right.
a triangle, and now it's not, and now it's like a semicircle, and now
Yeah.
it's underneath. So the idea just to keep in mind is that it is talking about or is referring to the area under F between A and X, whoever X may be, number one. Number two, you could derive it using FTC part 2 if you needed to, like define G prime. You could technically second derive it. But they were just saying like, hey, this appears, and they put an X up here, and so X can be different numbers that changes the top bound for you to find the area. So, right.
For E6, I think I wrote the same thing, just with a lot less words. I didn't write the word accumulation function.
It's not a bad idea to write accumulation function because that's how they refer to it.
Uh-huh.
But anything that I just said is appropriate.
Miss D, will you really quickly go back to E5? Sorry. I just don't know what it was asking.
Oh, it's B to A, so it looks weird.
Oh.
They're saying it looks weird, so then remember that you can make it a negative and flip the bounds.
Got it.
So for instance, if you had like this accumulation function down here, and if the bottom bound was 0 and it said x was -2, that's backwards. So remember to make it negative when you go the correct direction.
Got it. Okay. I was just trying to figure out what it was going to be.
You guys see your improper integral in E11,
Yes.
then integration by parts hiding in E12.
Wasn't there a trick from integral from 1 to infinity f of x? Or for 1 over x to the p?
You're just thinking about power series, so it is going to converge.
No, like
Whatever
a special way to find what the integral is.
Oh, maybe. There might have been a formula. I mean, it's ultimately ln, so you just plug in.
Right. Oh, here it is.
See if I just put,
Oh, yeah.
shouldn't it be absolute value for E F F2 shouldn't be absolute value of F of x minus G of x? Oh no, never mind. They stated. F of x
They
straight
stated top minus bottom.
Alright, but if
But the fail-safe would be throwing an absolute value to make sure it's positive again. Yeah. Check for intersections, right?
Well, that's what the absolute value would make it do, right? You have to check for the
Oh, they just said area between, so they're assuming there are only 2 intersections, so they're assuming you don't need to worry about it, but yeah, just absolute value at the end.
F3 I never remember, or F3 I never remember.
You guys remember on this one real quick, right? The integral of k would just be kx from A to B. So
Yeah.
k times b minus k times a.
Um,
You guys know E9, E10 are the 2 cases of FTC part 2?
yeah,
That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
they kept asking like, there was like 4 in a row about FTC.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Is it a lot?
Oh.
We know it really well. We know it really, really well.
All I
Is it okay if for E12 I put integral f of x times g of x dx equals f of x times capital G of x minus integral of capital G of x times f prime of x
What?
dx?
It's just lucky 7.
I know, but I didn't write the u's and v's. I clicked in.
I mean, whatever makes more sense in your mind, you did like the variation using the chain notation. Either way. F3 is a certain, yeah, it works either way, Jordan. As long as you make sure you stated it correctly. F3 is that special type of AP problem that shows up every now and then that throws kids off, but it shouldn't. You're just talking about area from A to B cut in half at some C, so you can just go from A to C, go from C to B, and then just set them equal to each other. You would probably solve or anti-derive by hand. So the anti-derive, plug in C minus anti-derive, plug in A, A's a number. Same thing over here, you'd have an expression just in terms of C, and it's like no big deal, just solve it. But they do show another way of simplifying this. That you could just say from A to B is 2 or is double from A to C, and it just simplifies how many integrals you have to do by hand. Yeah.
So, I don't think I've ever seen one of those questions before. Can you try one out maybe later? This type of thing.
I've seen one recently. I'm trying to think of where I've seen it.
I think that's it.
It's in an FRQ. It's not in 2016.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's in AD
Integral.
It says A
2016.
to C and then C to B
Okay.
and then A to B, A to C.
Miss D,
Or there's either variation. Yeah.
F3 reminded me. F3 reminded me of the perfect triangle concept from average value and an integral. Like, are they gonna ask us find the perfect triangle using average value?
I think I've seen it once in a really old exam. I don't think it's a current thing. They have shown it before in the f of c times b minus a form and asked you basically no NVT on one of those like 1, 2, or 3 responses in a multiple choice. Why did I see that one recently? Oh, we did.
I don't think it was in
It might have been because I just gave CalcBC last week their area volumes. I might have seen it in the old effort too, so I'll go back and peek. I've seen it a couple times.
Did you guys put top minus bottom for F4?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, for F5, I put top sub big minus bottom sub big. Is that cool?
But only for F, right? And then you did top some, the hollow, top minus bottom for G.
I put top sub small minus bottom sub small.
Okay.
And then
You say
let's see
whole
again,
minus hollow.
for F5, I can do absolute value again.
Yes, but the nice thing is with F5
Okay.
is since they're squared, you don't actually have to worry about it, but they will write it a particular way with the top and the bottom. If it's like a match to the integral setup but not evaluated. You know, sometimes in the multiple
But if I
choice, it's
am-
not numbers, it's expressions.
I'm just, so even if f of x is always on top, wait, can we ever have a volume if they cross twice?
We
That'd be a
could,
weird
but I haven't
scenario.
really seen it.
Okay, so I should.
I mean, you just split it up at the intersection point like you would with area. Does that make sense? Right.
Going back to the improper integral one, would it be wise to memorize one integral 1 to infinity dx over x to the p is 1 over p minus 1?
If you want. Technically, it's going to be like solving with ln, so I wouldn't cram more in than you have to. But if you, it will save like a few seconds on the test. So, scrolling.
Misty for F7.
Yeah.
I just multiplied.
F6 we're good on.
No, I need to, sorry.
I just multiplied the g of y over to the side and then the dx.
You mean
to the
dividing?
side. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, divided and then multiplied the dx.
Good.
to the
Integrate
side.
both sides. Don't forget plus c. Usually solve
So
with
just
equivalent.
integrate both sides then.
And don't forget plus c.
Good.
And plug in the equivalent.
So you can just write integral dy over g of y equals integral f of x dx. Don't forget, and then write, and then
Solve for plus c using equivalent.
right. Solve for plus c.
You can say solve legally. That's usually a big problem. Although in AB, on their test, quite a few of them just skip the entire FRQ on the back, which is really sad.
Oh,
There's always some.
I'm just saying it's sad. F9 is going to be a little confusing because it's average rate of change of F prime. That's why it looks weird. So you would take the average value of F double prime, or you would do F prime of B minus F prime of A all over B minus H, because they want the average rate of F prime. You can think average acceleration given velocity. That's a good application. The average rate of a rate is the average second derivative.
Curious. I did that with I intuited it.
No, that makes sense. Because you just say average rate of block and you do block of B minus block of A all over B minus A.
Yay. Y is increasing proportionally to y. What?
It's direct variation or directly proportional to. So it's y prime equals k times y. And they're saying that you can, whenever you see a differential equation in that form, the derivative equals a constant times y, it will always go back to exponential growth.
If it was k times, let's say y was 1 minus x, could you put in 1 minus x for y equals c e to the kt?
No, because your u prime would be a negative. C would be d or u and du. Your u substitution. Similar idea. It's going to end up with c times e to the, but it's going to be a negative instead.
Okay, so
And you're going to like have it offset with a plus or minus 1 or something.
so if you have y in like a parentheses, one like a y is f of x.
It's still the same idea. I would just say move it to the other side and use ln to solve. No big deal.
Okay.
And to undo the ln, you do e to both sides. The c comes down. The idea is the same. Partial fractions on F12, right?
You just write partial fractions. They're very not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I write. That's what I did.
Totally fine.
Heavy side method is the cover up. Is the
Thumb rule?
thumb trick.
Use given points of like drawing little lines, calculate the point. For F11, I think I
There's a method. Be really careful with your approximate.
um,
But they didn't show that part. But remember the y name is approximately the y over plus the dy. I don't think they did squiggles, and they should have done squiggles.
let me see for F11, I put plug in points to dy dx, plot slopes at each value.
Right, I'm pretty sure it's about what they said.
I was scared 'cause I thought the wording was like right but wrong.
Baby tangents. Baby tangents. Alright, do that, Stan?
Yeah.
13. Oh, what?
Okay, this whole shebang is technically due on Wednesday. Tonight is GHI and then JK for the next. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just post this on your website underneath keys so that tonight you can check it yourself. Come tomorrow with extra questions. Does that make sense? Just to save on time. So I'm going to freeze the screen while you guys keep checking. I'm going to throw this answer key. I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere, but
You know, I was tempted to look it up. But I was like, oh, no.
yeah, and there are different versions of it, so then I like this one, but I still think making it your own is much more beneficial than just, stealing it. Because as you guys have already seen today, there's definitely some things that could have been put better. Once you guys have that done, grab out your...
The Euler's method formula better than anything
I know.
else right now. Like, that's pretty easy.
Don't forget your squiggles.
The Euler's method formula, I wrote what we had notes down.
Yeah, and I just said, just a second ago, y new with y old, make sure you do squiggles.
Oh. Oh, yeah, okay.
Make sure you do squiggles. Y new to y old with dy. The way we did it in notes was in our forever card was using differential equations. So instead of writing dy, we wrote capital F of x comma y. I think the differential equation at xy. I would prefer that.
For F16 and F17, did you guys just put y equals L and at y equals L over 2?
Yeah.
Yesterday I was moving more stuff from my card to the other card,
Uh-huh.
and I grabbed my Endeavor cards, I put them on the hood of my car, and then I started driving.
Oh no.
I noticed they were flying out, and when I stopped, they flew. So I got them. I had my mom get out and get them.
That was probably the safest at the moment, right?
Okay.
Alright, cool kids, few things real quick. This is posted on your keys folder. Right under when you see you think BC solutions. You see it? Hey, what else is here? If you didn't already figure out how to find them. The 2016 scoring guidelines. What are you supposed to do for today?
1 and 2.
1 and 2 using your calculator. What's tonight's homework?
2 and 3 and 4.
3 and 4. I am putting the answer key online. If you have not yet graded your 1 and 2, color pen grade it. Reason being, I'm taking a grade on it? No. Reason being, I am for completion, but reason being, find your weaknesses. Find your weaknesses. So if you have not yet graded 1 and 2, or if you were using the answer key on 3 and 4, make sure you do it on your own and then use that colored pen to find your weaknesses. What did you not interpret correctly? What did you not pull out of the problem? Come tomorrow with questions that you guys have. With the when you see you think online, that should also go quicker. I'll see if you guys have any questions on GHI for tomorrow, then JK on Wednesday. But it'll be quick because you should check it on your own. Sound good? Cool. What do I have open right here? Search AP Calculus BC free response. And what do you have since 1999? All the FRQs that have been given every single year, Form A and 4B, which is like an international exam or something like that. Or the one that's given later. Anyway, long story short, all the free response questions you could possibly want. 2016 is what we're doing, right? This is just the questions. These are the scoring guidelines, what the AP graders used or AP readers used. Student performance, Q&A, that's the common student mistakes, what they didn't interpret correctly, etc. And then there are actual student responses as far as, here's one that got all the points, here's the one that got half the points, here's the one that got barely any points, like 3. They didn't show you 0, obviously, because that would just be done. But they showed a student that got 9, that got 5, and that got 3. And they walk through, hey, these were very indicative of students as a whole. So those are very useful since we are focusing on 2016. Those might be good for you guys to look at. And score distributions based on the performance on the FRQ. Just search it, AP Cal BC free response. You can find last year's. Besides that, it's kind of sad because we don't have a lot of time left, but let's do just a couple FRQs. Multiple choice.
Do you want to turn in the stuff right now?
Oh, I was supposed to do that while you guys were talking. I got distracted. Give me notes and spirals. Ooh, but what are you writing your multiple choice in?
Oh, I have a different substitution paper, but I don't know if I did it. And then tests, practice test.
Okay, by the end of class. What don't you need, George? Anything?
Yeah.
By the end of class, I want you guys, when you walk out the door, to not lost card and then way of sugar. Come get sugar. Notes there, spirals there, practice test there. Cool. By the end of class. So practice test, notes, spiral, so we can get it in. I was due like what last week sometime, Thursday technically.
Thursday.
Yep. Tell me about it. All right. Multiple choice stuff. What do we got? All right. Derivative definition.
Definition. So we have to do the limit.
Maybe. You don't have to do the limit. You just have to be able to interpret the limit. Ready, set, number 14, go. Limit as h approaches 0. F of 2 plus h minus f of 2. All over h equals 5.
Oh, we should write down the question.
Must be true. This is the one fact you know. I don't want you guys to write down the whole question. Write the important stuff. That fact you know which must be true. What do you think about continuance? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why?
Because it exists. The limit exists. At
The limit exists of that guy. That's true. But what is this guy?
Definition of a derivative.
F prime of 2 equals 5, right? So F is continuous. That's true. What else?
So that means he has to be differentiable at x.
Because the derivative exists. Look, there he is.
And it's not A, B, D, or E. It has to be C.
Process of elimination, check.
Right?
Why is 3 not true? Doesn't mean it can't be true,
I don't know. I just.
but it doesn't have to be true. Which, to be honest, that's the one that confuses me just a bit. Yeah.
It seems like 2 of you are saying the same thing.
Yeah, that's the dilemma. 2 says the derivative exists. 3 says the derivative is continuous at 2.
It might not be.
The dilemma if the derivative is not continuous at 2, how can the derivative exist? Because the derivative is a limit.
Could it be a whole? No.
It could be like an infinite continuity, but it's going to the same positive thing.
I have to think about that one. C is the correct answer just because of obvious process of elimination, but I am curious about that.
Could
I think it has to do with the must be true, but I'm trying to think of a case where
if the derivative is a sharp point, so the derivative exists, but
It's not
it wouldn't be continuous.
there. Wait, it would be.
no, it wouldn't be continuous though if
It
it's a
just
sharp
wouldn't
point.
be differentiable.
In order to
Yeah, that's true.
in order to be there and to not be continuous, it has to be a jump. So I'm trying to think of a jump, but a jump would be a sharp point, and if it's a sharp point, then it's not differentiable. So I'm trying to think of a jump that does have a derivative that exists. Curious, I have to think about that one. Number 15. Ooh. Solve.
A.
Multitails. Nah.
Intuition.
It does fit the definition of the derivative formula, right? F of x, there is no x, there's an e, so it's f of v minus, or I should say f of v plus h minus f of v. So I do have a derivative at e, which crosses off not, oops, struggle, which crosses off those ones. So I could say this is the limit as h approaches 0 of ln of x plus h minus ln of x all over h such that x equals e. Because ln of e is 1 and ln of e plus h, well there he is. So therefore I'm just trying to find. Does that make sense? Okay, how about differentiation then? CNA. Ooh, this looks fun. Number 16. What rule are they banking on you guys missing?
Of Cal.
F of cal. Yeah. How do we take the derivative?
You gotta put him in there, and then you gotta divide it.
We could do that.
Or we can
Or-
just do f prime of x times g. Yeah, f of u, whatever. You know.
F prime of ln of x times 1 over x. Can we do that?
Sure.
We can do the chain rule and then we can plug in chunks. So then we can find our f prime to be.
2x plus 2.
So our final answer would be
2x plus 2 over x.
do you guys see how they're banking on some people to kill some poor little puppies or kittens or something or others? Don't let that be you.
Love killing puppies.
So sad.
That's a time, right? One of those.
What do we do with arctan?
Kill it.
Or it's slow, but just derive.
What is the derivative of arctan?
1, oh no, yeah, 1 over 1 plus u squared,
Mm-hmm.
or a squared plus u squared.
Times. Such that.
Plug him in, plug him in.
1/4 squared is 16. Oh my goodness. 16 over 16 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 4 over 2 is done. 2 undone. Easy, cheesy stuff. We need to get some BC or multiple choice tomorrow. Maybe we'll do like some related rates or something tomorrow. Then we'll get to some BC another day. Kiddos, quick heads up. Did I talk to you guys about on Friday how in Classroom I posted a link to this full document that has tons of multiple choice on every topic in AP Cal, AB, and BC?
You did not.
So in the Classroom I did put a link to, actually I think I attached the document. It's called APMC multiple choice sorted by topic. There we go. This. I'm just picking out a few from each topic. This document, all I have to do is hit Control F and type in. It has a list of the possible topics at the top. It has answers and then it has following questions. So, what do we have? A and A? Look at us. Go team. I'm not going to do all of these in class. I'm just trying to hit on different topics, and so we'll keep going. Topic? Hey, that's not ready yet. Okay. Bye guys. What are you working on tonight?
GHI.
GHI, 3 and 4,
corrections.
give me homework spirals. Oh yeah, test corrections. Wasn't that due today?
You said that we can wobble on it because you wanted us to get that much.
Alright.
I did.
Right, no, Piles. Algebra 1 kids are coming. They need structure. If you want candy on the way out.
Misty, I'm so sorry. I never finished this.
Do by the end of the day.
It's not.
Wait, so Miss Keeper, test corrections, if we did do the extra credit, are we gonna go over the extra credit?
Yes.
Misty.